Today's conversation is on how to remain in flow so that you can experience the path of least resistance to actualize or manifest your heart's desires. As I always say, what is yours can never be taken away from you. This has been my experience since I discovered this information from reading the book Think and Grow Rich in 2004. In there, he said, if you have a desire, a burning desire from the heart, you can accept through auto-suggestion that you already have. And lately we've been discussing that one does not need to apply auto-suggestion to acknowledge having. They can acknowledge that desire means having. Desire means being. As in, you already have what you desire. You already are all that you desire to be. Mark 11:24. Pray as though ye have received it, as in you already have it. You have it. Now, the individual might not know this, we could say, because they seem to be identified with appearances, and they try to hold on to appearances. They try to grasp appearances, and as a result of trying to grasp, trying to hold on, they experience suffering. So at any moment, the individual can release that identification by returning to the sure foundation, the still I am presence that transcends all appearances, yet pervades all appearances, to bring forth the desires of the heart in a path of least resistance way, we could say, which I refer to as the way. Thus, I am the way, and the way of life is flow. So the individual accepts that they already have what they desire, whether it be ideal harmonious relationship, ideal harmonious business. That is reality. Reality is perfect as it is now. As I say, you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. But you don't need to take my word for it. At any moment, if the individual thinks that they lack love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, they could return to the source, we could say, which is here now. The still I am presence that is here now, which is the source of everything that the individual desires. The source of love, the source of peace, the source of happiness, the source of bliss, the source of fulfillment. And as the individual is not separate from the source, the individual does not need to do this or do that or think this or think that or have an external condition appear to be a particular way in order to experience the true nature of self, which is complete love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. As a matter of fact, I can of myself do nothing. So I release identification to the appearances to be still and experience that I am presence that transcends the appearances, yet pervades the appearances to bring forth your heart's desires in what the individual experiences as flow, a flow-based journey to actualizing the vision. So, practically speaking, the individual remains in flow. Everything appears to flow as it always does. It appears to flow to be in harmony with the individual, as it appears to be in harmony with all, as ultimately only God alone exists. Beyond I, beyond the illusions of I am, pervading all, existing as love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, as beside there is no other. So who is there then to be in conflict with? Who is there then to restrict the flow? It is only the individual that could think in terms of separation. And no shame, no condemnation. Consider the appearances to be physical appearances. So we could say people, environment, circumstance, information. Those are appearances to who? If I ask you the question, you may say, to I. These appear to I. Now, we say, okay, if they appear to you, do they appear to flow? Do they appear to change? You obviously would say people appear to move, environments appear to move, circumstances, weather, sunrise, sunset, everything appears to move, or we could say everything appears to flow. And it does. Thus, everything is flow-based. So I say, what remains still? You may say, I remain still. I witness this appearing to change. I witness this appearing to move. I witness this appearing to flow, yet I remain still. And so that's physical appearances. What I also consider to be appearances are thoughts and emotions and phenomena of the mind. So, to prove the point, I may think this today, I may think this tomorrow, I may emotionally relate to this person this way an hour ago, and I may emotionally relate to this person this way now, be it a friend, business partner, client, etc. I may behave this way, I may act this way today. Last week, it appears I was in Mexico. Body was in flow in front of the Playa ruins as we were there. The Playa car ruins, we were there. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link in the description to it. Yet today, body appears to flow here in conversation with you. So, what remains the same still? What still remains the same? It is I. I appeared there. I appeared here. I related emotionally to this person this way. I related emotionally to this person that way. I thought this. I thought that. Yet I remain the same. I remain the same. So, if I remain the same, then everything appears to me to flow. Environments appear to flow. Behaviors appear to flow. Thoughts appear to flow. Emotions appear to flow. Everything, people, environment, circumstance, information appears to flow, yet I remain still as I am. For I know that I am transcendent to these appearances. I know that I am beyond these appearances. So then the question is, if I appear to transcend thoughts, emotions, world, people, environment, circumstance, information still, why do I exist? Where do I spring from? And how, we could say, can I remain in flow? Well, let's answer those three questions. I spring from the sure foundation that I am all that I desire to be, that I have all that I desire, that everything that I desire, I am. What could I desire? Well, I can say I desire love, I desire happiness, I desire peace, I desire bliss, I desire fulfillment. And I may look for conditions or appearances to be a particular way before I can experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Now, this is illusory because if I acknowledge that still I am presence, I experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, not because of an external condition, not because of an appearance, which includes not because of people, environment, circumstance, and information appearances, because I transcend those appearances, not because of this thought or that thought, although I may say Philippians 4:8, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, they, as I think these things, bring forth the experience and embodiment of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, for that is I really thinking for thyself. Because thy true nature is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Because as I don't identify with the thoughts, with the emotions, with the appearances, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment pervades. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment permeates the body, permeates the mind. How do I know? Thoughts seem to appear from nowhere to be what we can call thoughts of love, thoughts of happiness, thoughts of peace, thoughts of bliss, thoughts of fulfillment. In the body is experiencing emotions, which are energy in motion, are experienced as what we can call love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Those thoughts, those emotions, the way we experience our body in that I am presence is what we can point to with those words, yet the I am presence transcends those words, transcends how we may label it. Yet we can honestly say, that is love, that is happiness, that is peace, that is bliss, that is fulfillment. That is the being I am. Thus, transcendent to I, there is only the being I am, as ultimately only God alone exists. And ultimately, absolutely, only God alone exists appearing as all in harmony, beyond the illusions of I. As to the still presence I am, there is only existence consciousness bliss, or existence consciousness peace, being consciousness bliss, being consciousness peace, being consciousness happiness. Yet I appear to witness the divine play of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment appearing more so with increasing frequency on a continuous basis as far as the senses perceive, as I remain as I am, as I abide in that I am presence, as I relax into the being I am. Body can be then described as experiencing flow. As a matter of fact, there is a neurotransmitter that is released while in flow. It's called anandamide. Anandamide was named after the Sanskrit word ananda, as I mentioned, Satchit Ananda, existence consciousness bliss, truth consciousness bliss. Only Brahman alone exists, and this is a play of Brahman. So there is no other. There's only Brahman appearing to play Brahman perfectly as Brahman does. And so the I that appears is simply an individual witnessing the play. As the individual witnesses the play, does not interfere with the play, body is experienced as flow. We can honestly say, oh, I was in flow. while performing that initiative. I was in flow while I was creatively expressing. So for an artist, for example, who paints, I can of myself do nothing, the Father within doeth the work. I allow it to be, as only God alone exists, as the source of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, infinite intelligence. I just abide as the still I am presence to remain in flow. So if I was about to become identified with an appearance, no shame, no condemnation, let it be. Let the world be. Let the people be. Let the environment be. Let the circumstance be. Let the thoughts be. Let the emotions be. Let the body be. Be still in that I am presence. We could say return to the source. And as mentioned, as the source is the infinite source of what the individual desires, they no longer need an external condition to be met or something to appear in a particular way in order to experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, for they know that I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Thus you are all that you desire to be. I am not seeking. I am all that I desire to be. I have all that I desire, as I know that I am all that I desire to be. The individual that appears, if the individual appears to seek, what are they seeking for? What do they desire? No shame, no condemnation. They're seeking for, they're desiring love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Although we could say the individual seems to look outwardly to the appearances. Ultimately, it's all one. As mentioned, inner and outer are one. So to say inner and outer, illusory, because only God alone exists. Yet for accessing that I am presence, we articulate it this way. And once the individual abides as I am, they experience bliss permeating, love permeating, happiness permeating, fulfillment and peace permeating all existence, then I can relax. And then it is acknowledged experientially that only God alone exists. Yet, until that point, we could say, which that point is here now. So it's not a later point, as only now God alone exists here now. So we could say then, for the sake of conversation, until the still I am presence is acknowledged as the source of complete love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, and the individual perpetually, we could say, remains in flow. If the individual seeks for external love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment in the form of a condition, in the form of an appearance, could be this person appearing this particular way, this person saying this, and if they said that, then not love. If they said this, then love. If the individual seeks for conditions to be met that is illusory, because we have gotten to the point, we can say, how? What do I mean by that? We have gotten to the point. We know that it is illusory because love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment is experience in that still I am presence, which transcends all appearances, which include the physical appearances of this world and the mental phenomena. I am beyond, yet I am pervading all, as all is ultimately Brahman. Ultimately, the absolute reality is existence, consciousness, bliss. So rather than this just sounding like an interesting spiritual concept, if the individual seeks for a condition to be met in order to experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, or seeks externally for love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, no shame, no condemnation. Drop that. Do not identify. As stated also in Romans 12:2, do not conform to the patterns of this world. So do not identify. Do not identify. Abide as that still I am presence. Allow those thoughts that suggest otherwise to appear to disappear in mind. Allow mind to be still, be calm, allow the emotions to be released, not trying, not forcing to change the emotions. When I say you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, what I refer to is existence being love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, or existence, consciousness, bliss. You are these labels, let's say, that we seek for, what they point to. You are already that, what you seek for. I am that I am. I am perfect, whole, complete, beyond these appearances, regardless of how it appears. If it appears this way, that way, thoughts appear this way, emotions appear this way, body appears this way, that way, not because of. So what happens then is the individual experiences flow unconditionally, because they're not seeking for a condition or an appearance to be a particular way to experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, because that is what is resulting in the flow restrictor. The flow restrictor is an illusion, as in, it's only the individual that can identify with a belief or a condition placed upon consciousness that suggests that appearance needs to be a particular way in order to be in flow. As we mentioned earlier, everything already appears to flow. You appear to flow, people appear to flow, environments appear to flow, everything appears to flow, everything appears to flow to be in harmony. To be in harmony, it appears to flow to be in harmony with your vision. As mentioned, I had learned this back in the days from Think and Grow Rich. He didn't articulate it this way. These are the articulations based on experience of applying this since 2004. You accept that you already have what you desire, and then plans, hunches, inspirations are received within. Things appear to change on their own. God does everything ultimately, perfectly, for the individual, for all individuals, as ultimately only God alone exists. So why would I then need a condition to be met in order to be happy, if only God alone exists as perfection? Which, again, wonderful pointer words. Love, peace, happiness. That is what the individual was seeking for. They were seeking for the source of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And it happens to be that the source is here now, eternally here now. The eternal peace, not temporary, as in, if this condition is met, then peace, and if this condition is not met, then not peace. The eternal peace is what every individual is seeking for. Seeking first the kingdom, and all these things are added onto you. The eternal peace, the eternal bliss, the eternal love, the eternal happiness is internal, we could say. It appears externally, yes, because ultimately only God alone exists. Yet for the sake of returning back to the source of all these things that the individual desires for, we say, go inward to the stillness. And then it pervades the mind and body as, we could say, peace or bliss or love, and then it appears to pervade all. Yet it was always pervading all. It was always that way. It's just in mind, it may not appear that way. And no shame, no condemnation. That is how we remain in flow. So, practically speaking, anytime the individual is about to identify, as I transcend the appearances, identify with, about to identify with, or is identified with an appearance, which then could appear as trying to control, trying to force, trying to manipulate, trying to change thought, emotion, behavior, environment, person, circumstance, condition. Although we could say it could be tempting to try to do something about it. I can in myself do nothing to remain in the flow. So what do I do then? I surrender completely. I surrender to the being I am. the source of all that I desire, which is what I desire to see appearing here, we could say. I desire to see the play of God. I desire to witness the play of God here. Nothing wrong with me. I acknowledge that the play of God is perfect as it is while in flow. While you're in flow, there is no I. There's only I am while in flow. Everything appears to be in harmony. There's no me versus you or this versus that. That's illusory. How could there be me versus you versus me, this versus that versus this, if only God alone exists? Those are what we call illusions of I. And those illusions of I, which can result in flow restriction, are released in the moment by returning to the still I am presence and abiding as I am, being as I am, no separation, as ultimately only God alone exists. And as ultimately only God alone exists, appearing as, the individual then appears as, we could say, although while in flow, the I thought is not there. It may appear now and then, yet if it appears now and then, the individual really thinks for themselves. Now they know who thyself is, the perfect nature of thyself. And so what happens then is they remain in their flow. And everything appears to be, because, as we mentioned, only God alone exists. Everything appears to flow to the individual. Yet beyond what the individual can witness in the scope of focus or scope of physical awareness, or is the infinite I am, which is all-pervading, infinitely intelligent, complete love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So I don't try to fix it, because I might not know, we could say, the best way to fix it in mind. So I transcend the mind. I return back to the source, and then it may be placed in mind. The idea, the hunch, the plan, the inspiration, what to do. And that happens naturally as well. Body appears to flow. You appear to flow. And things appear to flow on their own. People, environment, circumstance, everything appears to flow on its own to be in harmony. And so that's how you remain in flow. By not trying, by not forcing, by not needing, by not wanting, not waiting, not craving. By being. So, anytime the individual is about to become identified, release identification. It's illusory to be identified. What do I mean by that? Well, all of these appearances appear to change, yet you remain the same. I, focused outwardly, we could say, to this world, and forgetting inwardly the source of complete bliss, of complete fulfillment, may think that now I need to control, I need to force, I need to manipulate. To prove it an equation that I do not need to do that, for everything to appear to be perfect as I remain in flow, I return back to the source by accessing the still I am presence. And immediately it is experienced in the body. Even thoughts appear in mind to represent the being I am. We could say Philippians 4:8, based, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. And also, it is experienced in the body, as mentioned. We could say, well, I experience bliss here, happiness here, peace here, fulfillment here, love here. I ask you the question, for what reason? You may say, I don't know. For no reason. Well, consider that you have found the true nature of self. And so the seeking stops. And so you remain in your flow because you no longer need a condition to be met in order for you to be in flow. You flow here, you flow there, you flow everywhere. And for the entrepreneur, this is experienced as a flow-based journey to actualizing the vision. In relationships, flow-based relationships. In conversations, flow-based conversations. And every time I return to that still I am presence, to abide as I am, mind is purified from these illusory beliefs that suggest a condition needs to be met, which those beliefs are conditions also. So mind is purified from those beliefs, those conditions, that it needs to be this way or that way in order to experience what I truly desire, which generates a force-based journey to actualizing the vision, or so it appears that way, which is illusory, as the reality of God is perfect as it is now. And only God appears to be in harmony. To prove the point, return to that I am presence, and you can honestly say that is the experience. Yet, if the individual is identified with a belief of lack or limitation, or lacking bliss, lacking happiness, lacking peace, then they might not think that way. They might argue with another person and say, that cannot be that way. Well, release that identification to witness what happens. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I return to the still I am presence that is pervading all in perfect harmony, to experience perfect peace, perfect bliss, perfect happiness, perfect love, perfect fulfillment, appearing more so as the fruits of divine. As divine is the source and fulfillment of everything that I desire. I am divine, and I appear as the branches to witness the fruit of divine, as ultimately there is only divine being I am.